Minasan konnichiwa. I just got back from my trip to Japan and I had an absolutely amazing time there. The food was delicious and the people were some of the most friendly, courteous people I've ever met. The country is incredibly clean. Um, it was just an amazing overall experience. The first time I've ever been to Asia and I had a lot of fun. It was also happened to be cherry blossom season, so I was had the opportunity to see the beautiful cherry blossoms in full bloom as well. Now, before going to Japan, I had only spoken or practiced Japanese for off and on, maybe total about a year. It was worth of time. So I've studied 100 to 150 hours worth of Japanese. And I'd only spoken once before in my life in Japanese for a half an hour lesson on Italki. I was very pleased that when I got there, there's actually quite a few people in Japan that don't speak English or don't feel comfortable speaking English. And so I was able to buy train tickets, pick up, my rail pass, all only in Japanese, order food at a restaurant, shop in a department store with my wife, get directions, and order at a restaurant, get recommendations about food in a restaurant, all in Japanese. And a great thing about Japan is that a lot of the Japanese people actually prefer speaking in Japanese, at least in my experience, which actually surprised me. I had read before I went there online that a lot of Japanese people will want to practice their English. And for anyone who, I just don't think that's true. In my experience, that's completely false. And like if I go to Germany or Northern Europe, somewhere in the Netherlands, yes, I have trouble actually finding people who will speak a foreign language with me, especially as a learner. As I get better, maybe more people would speak German with me towards the end. But in Japan, my Japanese is weak. It's very basic. I wasn't talking about politics or anything complex at all, just very basic stuff. And they kept the conversation completely in Japanese the whole time with me, which was a lot of fun um, and great for language learners. Um, Initially, when I went to Japan, I didn't know how much I would continue Japanese after the trip, and possibly focusing just getting back to Mandarin. But I had such a great time. I would definitely go back to Japan. I want to learn more about the country. A lot of prior stereotypes, especially about some of the oddities in the subculture. I've never really been into manga or Japanese anime. But there's so much more in Japanese culture and history to offer that I'd love to learn more about. Um, that's keeping me intrigued and wanting me to continue to study Japanese. Um, so yeah, there's a brief update on my Japanese studies and my trip. If you have any questions or want to know more about my trip, just leave a comment. And